What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a happy and safe new year. Hope you had a good holiday season. Wanted to do a quick video just to talk about skins in games in general, and specifically to Battlefield 1, and also kind of talk about Rust skins as well. I made a bad move this holiday season, and I gave some money to kind of some shady corporate folks over at EA, and it was partly my fault, but it was also some deception that was going on. Very kind of shadowy practices going on with skins in Battlefield 1. So if you guys are Battlefield 1 players, I'm sure a lot of you probably are, a very popular game. There was a desert camo skin on one of the tanks in the game in this revision for the battle packs. Really badass looking item. They advertised it on their front page. A lot of us really wanted this item. A lot of YouTubers spent a lot more money than I did. Some people bought up to 500 battle packs, opened them all at once, didn't even get that legendary tank skin once, but they get all the other legendaries about 40 times over. And I experienced that too, getting all the other legendaries over and over and over again. So a lot of us really feel like we got burned on it, because what happened was that the drop rate for that tank wasn't the same as the other legendary items. It was actually an ultra legendary item, so it wasn't even in the same orange category. So I really felt like we got fucking burned on that, because what happened was we bought these packs under the assumption that, oh, hey, if you just buy a couple more, it's going to drop because we're getting all those other legendaries. But no, that wasn't the case. DICE actually acknowledged it. They said, oh shit, something's going on here. They changed the drop rate, but they didn't go back and refund the people who had already purchased battle packs. And not that they needed to refund them in cash, but they could have refunded them by just giving them the equivalent to the number of battle packs they purchased previously with the new drop rate. Now, to me, that doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal for a company that's made hundreds of millions of dollars off a game already, because it's an item they can sort of generate on their own end. It's digital. It's not necessarily involving cash. And it seemed to me like a win-win, but that wasn't the case. I submitted some support tickets. Other people did as well. And a lot of us had a lot of pushback from the company and just kind of negative experiences overall. They didn't want to do that. But it didn't really seem to make much sense, because the ability to essentially have a lottery system, which is gambling, which is what these crates are, is kind of a funny system in a way if you think of it, because what happened here was they changed the odds of the lottery halfway through. And then what happens to the people who bought those, lottery tickets, so to speak, first? I think there's usually laws to protect against that. And I'm not saying this is illegal. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know that that's the case, but it seems just shady as fuck. And it got me to do a lot of thinking about skins and virtual items and the value of those. And a lot of you guys are gonna be like, Fado, you're an idiot. You spent your money on it. And I can't say that you're wrong on that. But my answer to that is, I'll spend my money on what I want to spend my money on. But I did learn an important lesson here. And the lesson that I learned here is, don't ever put your money on something that you have no clue what the odds are. And I don't really like this crate system, and I'm going to tie this into Rust in a little bit, so this video will have some value if you're just a Rust player. But you should never spend your money on something if you don't really know what the odds are, if it's random like that, right? Here in the States, if there's a lottery, if you gamble, most places are required, I think all places are required to post the odds of what the game is that, the game that you're playing would be. And so you have some sense of, the math behind it, the chance behind it. This wasn't the case. And DICE has actually said that because this was such a debacle and there was so much outcry from the public, that they're going to start doing that. There's some countries like China, apparently, that already do that for virtual items, and I think it's really important to do. But what this really sent home for me was the difference between this type of system and then the type of system that, Uncle Gary and the gods at Face Punch have going on with their skins versus this random loot crate shit. And I'm really glad that Rust didn't go the way of the loot crate. I know that you can break down your skins now in Rust and turn some skins into some chances at getting other skins, and that's different. That's perfectly fine. But I like the ability in Rust to be able to purchase a skin outright, even if you think it's outrageously priced. If it's, something that has value to you, it's ultimately money better spent if you can just buy the skin directly rather than have to have this system of spending money on a random chance of getting something that you already have or that you don't want. It just is an absolute waste, and that was never more apparent to me than through purchasing this revision in Battlefield 1. The vehicle skins are new to Battlefield 1, so I think they kind of fucked up on the algorithm for them, and they sort of admitted to that, not directly but indirectly, and hopefully in future revisions it'll be a little bit different. But I don't know, guys, what are your thoughts on that in terms of these skins? I know it's a controversial thing. I like to support skins in games because if it's a game that I like, I tend to want to support it. I certainly buy a lot of Rust skins because I want to support the content creators, and I like Rust, so I want to have cool items and cool skins in the game. But ultimately, I really like the way that Facepunch is doing it versus the way that Origin and EA is doing it for Battlefield. I don't mind the random crates, but I almost feel like the random crates shouldn't be something that you pay money for. It should be more something that drops in the game, which it does do in Battlefield 1. But when you start spending money on something and they don't give you the odds of it, it's really a fool's errand to do that. And I definitely, fell victim to it this time. So I'm just kind of putting that out there to warn you guys, and to also kind of reflect on it myself. I spent a fair bit of time kind of stewing on it. It wasn't the amount of money that was spent on it, because it really honestly wasn't that much in terms of the overall scheme of things for me, but it's just the concept of getting kind of fucked in the ass by a company and then them changing it halfway through and just not being good to their customers. I feel like Facepunch is pretty good to their customers. They're really upfront about things, and the way that they do the skins is really just a better business practice than this random shit that goes on in other games. So I don't know, guys. Do you have any thoughts on that? Did you have any experiences with this Desert Gold skin? And, what are your thoughts on that overall? Feel free to leave a comment. I'm not coming back to YouTube. I might do a video every now and then if I feel compelled to do so. But I don't have the ability to come back full time or really do it with any degree of regularity. But again, hope you guys are having a great new year. Thank you as always for watching the video and commenting. Fado82, peace.